What time is it? It's Free Ride Friday time. That's right. Today is Free Ride Friday, guys. So make sure you hang on to the end of the episode to check out who won this week's free ride to the $100 MBA Training and Community. That's over 180 training videos, interviews with experts, workbooks, ask questions anytime, and a whole lot more. All for free, a lifetime membership to the $100 MBA. And all you got to do is leave us an iTunes rating and review. Just tap on the cover art if you're listening on your iPhone, and you'll see a link that says give us a rating and review. Click on that link, and you enter our weekly draw to win a free ride. Let's see who won this week's free ride. Let's jump right into the episode. Welcome to the $100 MBA Show, the business podcast that wants to see you win with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. And today you will learn how to create procedures for your team. Having procedures in place are so important, even if that team is just you. Procedures allows you to work more efficiently. And when you do grow your team, you know how to hand off that work with a procedure in place. It's a lot easier to train somebody to do something when you have a procedure. I can't stress how important this is for the growth of your business. So let's get into it. Let's get down to business. Today's episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by Rerun. Tired of spending hours chasing down clients for new credit card details? Automate subscriptions or membership billing with Rerun. Rerun automates payments, email, and best of all, expiring and declined credit cards. Learn more or sign up for a free trial at rerunapp.com/podcast. That's rerunapp.com/podcast. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, procedures are so important in your business. This is so important to do, especially when you're just getting started, to outline your procedures, what you do on a regular basis, and how you do it. Because as you grow, because you will grow beyond yourself, you're going to have to pass on some of those procedures, some of those tasks to other people. Whether it's a business partner, an employee, a virtual assistant, a freelancer, these procedures need to be clear so when you do pass it on, they take on those procedures flawlessly. So I want to give this lesson based on the fact that you are going to give these procedures to somebody else eventually. Now, if you're in the place where you have a team, where it's beyond just yourself, where it's you and a few other people, this is a great lesson, and you can implement it right away. If you are working by yourself, this lesson is just important. Take the information I'm giving you right now, outline them for the procedures that you do so you can pass them on later. Now, your business relies so much on great people, the people that you are working with in your company. But you can't experience success if your employees are frustrated with a boring procedure, or a confusing one for that matter. So in today's lesson, I'm going to give you a step-by-step model of creating a great procedure. Now, to create procedures that your teammates will actually use, you first have to understand psychology, or the psychology of learning. And that leads me to step 1. Use 4 modes of learning. So say, for example, you want to create a procedure of writing a blog post. So they have to be able to write it in a text document. They have to be able to paste it into a new page on your website or a post or blog post. They need to put a title to it. They need to do the SEO for it. They need to publish it. They need to proofread it, whatever. There's these steps involved. Now, when you're training somebody on a procedure, make sure you're tapping in to as many modes of learning as you can. Now, there's 4. There's the visual, there's reading and writing, which is 1, auditory, listening, and kinesthetic, touching and feeling and using your hands. This is why I think that whenever you do a procedure, you should do a screencasted video of it, because it covers at least the auditory and the visual right there, and often the reading as well, so they can read some text on the actual video. You never know how somebody actually prefers to learn, so make sure you cover as many bases as you can. You might find that one of your teammates likes to read procedures, like it's in a text document. They find it easier to go through and scan. They don't want to watch a whole video. Some people rather watch videos. So find out what they prefer, get to know them a little bit, and then adapt the procedure or the training to fit their style of learning. All right, step 2, use intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is when people are driven to succeed for internal reasons. Usually people with intrinsic motivation are driven because they truly are interested in what they're doing, and they find enjoyment and pleasure in the task. This is opposed to rewards like money or vacation time. People that are self-motivated are driven by procedures because they know it will lead to success. So remember that when you're giving somebody a procedure, tap into their intrinsic motivation. Ideally, when you're hiring, focus on people that are intrinsically motivated. You want people that are driven and to be a part of the team. You want people that show an indication of joy in what they're doing. So you're going to want to take the time to figure out what drives your employees. Tweak your procedures so that they intrinsically motivate them to perform well. Ask them what drives them professionally. Ask them what they want to accomplish by being a part of your team. And tap into that when you're giving them a procedure. So for example, if you have somebody on your team that is looking to move up in your company, they want to be a manager one day. So you may want to say in your procedure, this is how you do this task. But I also want you to take note of how I'm delivering this training because I want you to do this training for others later on. That's going to allow them to really perk up and pay attention. Okay, yeah, I do want to train other people. I want to be a manager. So let me pay attention, make sure I nail this procedure. All right, step 3, the big picture. Procedures can be repetitive and mundane. Over time, employees lose interest in repeating tasks because they've done it over and over. They've accomplished the task over and over. So sometimes they'll neglect the procedure. So to keep your teammates interested, create short and long-term goals for the procedure. Let your employees know that you're doing the same procedure over and over again in pursuit of a larger goal. In other words, communicate how your regular procedures are part of the big picture of this business, of what you're trying to accomplish as a company. Without every step in the process being completed at the best of everyone's ability, the business will not function correctly. Remind them of this. Remind them that every step is important because of this. We don't want to neglect this area because it will affect our business. And as we grow as a company, you will grow as a teammate of that company. Make sure they know that the future of the business is a reflection of their future professionally. A good example of this is what athletes call fundamentals. When I was younger, I used to play organized basketball, and they used to drill us on fundamentals. You got to make sure that you understand the fundamentals. You have to go over and over, do the same procedure. Even though you're playing at a very high level, you'll shoot, 100 free throws, or you'll do layup line drills over and over and over. Even though it's an easy thing to do, there's no defense on you. You're just doing layups, or you're just shooting foul shots. But the point is that if you can have a solid foundation and you focus on those procedures and fundamentals, come game time, they come extremely easy to you and they come second nature, and it greatly affects the success of the team. So for your business, you need to communicate the big picture with your teammates. Maybe it's a certain level of sales, maybe it's becoming the biggest company in your industry, but make sure it's super clear to everybody on your team. Guys, I got 2 more steps for you. Before that, I got to give some love to today's sponsor, infofree.com. I know many of you are struggling to find new customers. Trust me, I've been there. Most contact lists are outdated and don't have the sales leads that are right for your business. But let me tell you about a service I found that makes selling a whole lot easier. infofree.com. By the way, they're offering a free trial to listeners of this podcast. infofree.com's data is so accurate that it was even featured on 60 Minutes. Do you want to reach prospects with phone calls, emails, or direct mail? Infofree.com has you covered with its database of 14 million businesses and 220 million consumers. It gives you the power to target the specific leads that are right for your business. And with its free trial, you have nothing to lose. Infofree.com has a free mobile app that gives you the ability to access your sales leads and research any business before you call. Use the app on your iPhone or Android to qualify your leads within seconds. To get a free trial of infofree.com, just go to infofree.com/MBA. That's infofree.com/MBA. Step 4 of creating procedures for your team is to give them ownership of the procedures. When a teammate is intrinsically motivated, they simply need only the opportunity to take ownership of a procedure that you created for them to succeed at their job. Your task is to create this situation where your teammate isn't just simply following procedures. You want them to feel ownership over the procedure. You want to encourage them to improve the procedure and to better the company. As an example, if you have a teammate that expresses interest in teaching or training or management, as part of the procedure, make teaching part of their job. Let them train somebody else on this procedure, so if they're out sick or if they're on vacation or they get promoted, their teammate can take over. The employee will be driven to make the task successful, and they'll create a procedure that is inherently better for them and for the company. Now, as a business owner, you understand the power of ownership. When something is owned, such as your business, the owner is compelled to have it succeed. Give your employees, give your teammates the ownership of the procedures. Put the requirements they need to do, but let them run with it. And then lastly, step 5, recognize those teammates on your team who help improve existing procedures. Over time, your teammates will become really good at making use of the procedures. They'll become so good that sometimes you'll take it for granted. So it's important that you recognize hard work, you praise hard work, and you reward hard work that people carry out. One of the most successful business managers of all time understands the importance of recognition. And that's Richard Branson. Richard Branson every year hosts an award ceremony that recognizes individuals in his company. He doesn't only recognize them and their work, but he also recognizes the importance of how they carry out the procedures and their job and their role to make the business successful. He relates how their work has allowed the business to grow. That will pump up a teammate. That will pump up one of your employees to work harder and really allow them to shine. It's your job as the business owner to create this atmosphere, of reward and recognition and appreciation. Because if you don't, someone else will, your competitor. They will be a place where they want to work. So make sure you create that environment for them so they don't want to go anywhere. It's very hard to hire new employees. Turnover is one of the biggest costs that companies have to endure in both time and money. So make sure you invest in rewarding people and creating this culture of that your procedures and their roles are being recognized for good work. So it's your job to make sure that when people actually do their job properly and they fulfill the roles properly and do their procedures right and they improve upon it and make the company better, that you recognize it. It will pay off big time in the long run. All right, guys, that wraps up today's lesson, but it's Free Ride Friday, so it's time for us to announce this week's Free Ride Friday winner. And the winner is MJ Murphy 23. MJ Murphy says, Omar is the man, 5 stars. The $100 MBA show is the highlight of my morning routine. 10 minutes packed with useful content and high production value. Out of all my podcasts, the $100 MBA show is the one I look forward to the most as I ramp up my online business. Thank you so much, MJ Murphy, for that awesome review, and thank you all for submitting all those wonderful iTunes rating and review. Keep them coming. MJ Murphy, congratulations. You are a $100 MBA member. Your mission is to email us at contact@100mba.net so we can hook you up with the free ride. Guys, remember, everybody who's given us an iTunes rating review and will give us an iTunes rating review enters our weekly draw. Every Friday, we give away a free ride to the $100 MBA Training and Community. Thank you guys so much for dropping us all those wonderful reviews. Guys, I want to leave you with this. One of the things I've learned as our business has grown is that you have to constantly, as a business owner, transition from working on your business to working in your business. What's the difference? Working in your business is the actual tasks, creating the content, doing all the procedures and the management, all the day-to-day work. Working on your business is the planning. It's the things we talked about today, the procedures. It's the vision. It's the CEO mode. You have to really make sure that you constantly go back and forth from that. Don't spend too much time in one place. Yes, it's important to create the content and do the work, but make sure you take time on a regular basis, maybe once a week, to do some planning and some big vision thinking. Because eventually, as your business grows, and sometimes what I like to think is like, what does my business look like with 100 employees? I can't be doing all the work. I got to be delegating things to other people. And the more you grow, the more your role as a visionary, as a planner, as a manager becomes more prominent. That role becomes more prominent. So get into the practice of it. All right, guys, I hope that helps, and I hope to see you in tomorrow's episode, which is Q&A Weekends. We answer your questions right here on the show. I'll see you then. Take care.